Hello everybody, welcome back to programminginpython.com. Here in this video, I am going to show you how to make a simple Python GUI application. Basically, the application is a simple calculator which adds two numbers. It takes two numbers as input and just adds it. Here I used TKInter, which is a standard GUI package for Python. In the previous video, if you look at the previous videos, I have covered the GUI Python GUI basics like how to use labels, frames, buttons and all. So I will use those concepts here and create a simple application like this one. So if you want to see how the finished application looks like, you can see it here. This is how our main application looks like. It just has two fields. We can enter some numbers like, and when we press the calculate button, it just shows result here. Here we'll use a function. When calculate button is clicked, we'll use some functions to calculate this. That's the main thing in this video, as we covered already labels, buttons, text fields and all those in the previous introduction video. So now let's get started. So firstly we have to import and initialize TKInter. So first I will import TKInter as TK. Next we'll use some variable called root equal to tk dot tk. After initializing TKInter, we have to start the main loop. What this loop does, it prevents the application from closing immediately after opening. After initializing this, first we'll set some, we can also set some size of the application, that's called geometry. Take some arguments like size. Here remember, this x is not the multiplication star, this is the letter x. Plus 100 plus 200 padding. So next we can also set the title of our application. We can set it by using title, that is called simple calculator. So at this moment we will just run the application and see. So this is our application, this is the title which you have set, and this is a size 400 into 200 size we have set it. So that is the size here. So now let's create some labels. Label for title equal to, we have initialized this tk, so now we can use tk dot label, and the first parameter is where it should persist, that is it should be in the root which we have initialized here. And we can also set this labels text by using text here, text like this here, equal to simple calculator. So now if you run like this, it will show nothing because we didn't tell where the label should be in this frame. So where the label should be in this window, we just have said we need a label, but we didn't said where it should be. So here we use, so now we use label title dot grid. Grid means grid is just like rows and columns. Grid is just like rows and columns. So there's another thing called pack, which what it does is automatically places the elements according to the space available in the window, but grid allows us to place the elements where we want. Actually I want this in the row 0, and now if I run this application and see, you see this simple calculator, comes here. This is what the label we have just given. So now After giving the label title, we'll give another label for numbers, that is we have to enter two numbers. So this is the label 1. Similarly, we'll give this another label, that is label 2, and we'll set this position like this is the label 1's position will be, row will be 1, and we will give this column as 0. And similarly for label number 2, actually this will be row equal to 2. Actually this should be label 2. So label 2 will be placed in the second row. So actually we'll write enter first number and enter second number. So now if we run our application and see you can see this enter first number and enter second number placed after each row. So now after this we'll just show some edit fields for this. These are called entries. So we will write some entries here. So this is for title, this is for numbers. Now this is for entries. We will call this entry number 1 equal to take a dot. We'll use by calling entry here. This is also similar. We'll place this in root, and actually this is a input. This is like input field, so we have to get the value of this input field. So we use something like text variable here equal to some number 1, which are not initialized, but we'll initialize it now. We have to initialize number 1 like we will initialize it here equal to tk dot. Actually this is the string var. We'll use it like this. Similarly for number 2 also you have to use it like this, which will use this now, which will use this variable now. This will be for enter number 2. So now we'll use grid layout dot grid, and we'll set its row to, and it should be in the row 1, so row equal to 1, and its column should be 2. Similarly for this should be in the row 2 and same column 2. So now just run and see. So this is our application. You can enter some fields here. So that's how we have designed a label here and enter field next to it. Now we will keep a button here which shows calculate. So let's do that. So we'll write a button here that should be button calculate, something we'll call like that, equal to, that will be tk dot button. Similarly it should be placed at root and with some text for that button. So when this button is called, we have to do some calculations. So for doing that calculations, we'll call a function that we'll call here as a command here. So I will write this as a command. Command is nothing but simply like a function which we call, is just like a function. We'll call that, we'll name that as call result. So we have to declare this call result. So we'll write this call result equal to, we have to, I'm using these functions from partials. So if we functions from partials, so first we have to import partials to, that will be in functions. So from functions, from functools, import partials. So now we have imported partial. So now we can use this function calling using this partial. So here call result equal to partial, and this parameter, first parameter would be this one, call result, and some additional parameters like we have to show that we have to input them those two numbers and also the label to display the result. So that label would be label result. We have not yet initialized it, we will initialize it now, and these two numbers, number 1 and number 2, with these numbers. So we'll initialize this label result here equal to tk.label, and its column will be some 2. Okay, now we have to write a function for this call result. So we'll write this function at the beginning. We'll call this as, here we'll write this called def call result equal to, and the parameters we have passed 3 parameters, that is the result label and 2 numbers. We'll call them as n1 and n2. So first we'll return it. So now we'll write here what you want, write number 1. So we'll first get what the number is. We'll simply get it by using number1 dot get. So simple, right? Oh god. And similarly number 2, you can get it by using number2 dot get. And finally we'll use another variable called result to store this result, to store the sum of those two numbers. Will actually cast them as integers. So now input number 1 plus input number 2, sorry, integer number 1 plus integer number 2. So that's how we'll calculate the result. Sorry, not n1, but this is number 1 and this is number 2, and here too this is number 2. Okay, so now we will set this result to the label result which I have initialized before. So we will set this to label result here dot config. Actually we are setting it in the function, so we can use config instead of we have set like this, text equal to first number, because we have initialized and set it here. So now we are setting those text variables and all from a different function. We can use config here, and in the config we will write some text equal to result is some %t, which is for integer, and we will write %result. Result is this variable. So that's it, we are all set to go. Now we will run and see. So we have got our application. This is 2 plus 2. Oh, we didn't set the grid for our button. Here for button we didn't set our grid. So button cal dot grid, it will be in row 3 and column as 0. So now if we run and see our application, you can see this here. We have a calculate button, 2 plus 2, and the result is 4. Pretty simple. result is 346. That is how we design our simple application. Actually the result is showing here. We can set it by setting its row to column. Its row can be 3 maybe. Yeah, that's it. That's fine. 3 plus 2 is 5. So this is how we can design a simple application in Python. Here basically we used how to call a function using commands and all. We will use this type of commands a lot in Python GUI. So this is the beginning. This is the very first function we have written. So hope you like this video. So if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next video. Bye bye.